What is up, my brothers and sisters, my agents of respect? It's your boy Trey Johnson back with another episode of the No Disrespect But podcast. Before we get started, if you're new here, make sure you like, subscribe. You can always comment. We just want you to keep those comments respectful. Also, if you want to support your favorite podcaster, there will be a link in the description. So thanks for that. And yes, I'm in my Bama gear, but I promise y'all, this episode ain't about them. They're gonna handle business against that Colt in College Station, so I'm not worried about them. What I'm gonna be talking about today is the WNBA Finals. Game one is actually tomorrow at 3 o'clock Eastern Time, 2 o'clock Central Time, and it's gonna be on ABC. So you can't make the complaint that it's not on regular TV or I got to get a subscription, whatever it is. No, it's on regular cable. Everybody got ABC. You can watch it, and I get it. It's also right in the heart of afternoon football where most of the NFL slate is happening. But I'm here to tell you, you know, a little bit as to why you should forego the NFL games tomorrow and watch the WNBA Finals. Look, we can get into the marketing genius that thought it was a good idea to put this game on during that time, but it is what it is. Don't act like your favorite team or favorite league hasn't messed up. I mean, have you seen the product that the NFL is putting on prime time? The NBA bores us with some of the matchups they put on TV. And don't get me started on baseball. I mean, it's 162 games. Who wants to sign up for that shit? Even in the playoffs, I don't know if I have the energy to muster to watch it. But with all due respect, let's just understand that leagues make some marketing mistakes. And this is very well a marketing mistake by the WNBA. But, you know, I still think there's a silver lining, and there's again three things that I feel should take your attention from NFL Sunday and to make it WNBA Sunday for game one of the WNBA Finals. And just to start, it's the two best teams. Two best teams. They've been the two best teams since the offseason. It was a collision course. We knew when the New York Liberty got Breonna Stewart and then traded for Jonquel Jones and added that to a roster that already had one of the best up and coming young stars in the league, Sabrina Ionescu, you knew that they were championship or bust. And, the Vegas Aces, Las Vegas Aces, defending champs, Asia Wilson, Kelsey Plumley, Chelsea, or Kelsey Plum, sorry, Chelsea Gray. And then they add the real CP3, Candace Parker, who's been a two-way player her whole career and dominant at both. Unfortunately, she will be missing this matchup, it seems, as she had a fracture in her foot a few months ago and got surgery. So that sucks because that kind of dampers a little bit of everything. But at the end of the day, the Las Vegas Aces really didn't miss that much of a beat in the sense that they were already a dominant team. It's kind of like, I don't want to say it was as much as the 73-9 Warriors adding KD, because, CP3 is not in her prime or what she used to be, especially offensively, but she can get a bucket when you need it. Still one of the best passers in the game, still one of the best defensive players in the game. But it meant a lot to have her and add her to that gauntlet. Um, that was the Las Vegas Aces. So you kind of knew in the offseason, it's going to take maybe some injuries for these T2 teams to not make it to the WNBA Finals. And luckily, outside of CP3's major injury, Candace Parker's major injury, um, we got the two teams we wanted that we thought, and we're here. And when I say the two best players, I know Asia finished third in the WNBA MVP voting, but we all know that was just crazy. In my opinion, she probably should have won the award. She won Defensive Player of the Year, and look, I get it. Breonna Stewart was balling, who is the league MVP, and so I can't say that she doesn't deserve it either. But I just think what Asia was able to do, especially stepping her game up just to another level, when CP3 went down the stretch of that season, I found it hard to not have her, as my MVP favorite. She finished third. Alyssa Thomas finished second. I mean, Queen triple dub, so that makes a lot of sense as well. But end up be all, you got the two best players in the league, Breonna Stewart and Asia Wilson, and they're going to be going at it. And it's going to be a pleasure to see. And you got to understand that the rivalry runs deep. I mean, even during Stewie's run with in Seattle, and somehow, some way, you always ended up seeing the Aces and Seattle match up. Then you got to think about college years. You got UConn with Stewie versus South Carolina with Asia. So two prominent programs, created two prominent players in the WNBA, and it's just exciting to see the best of the best. I mean, it's like Magic Bird. It's kind of like what we wanted when Bron was at his peak in Cleveland and Kobe was at his peak in LA. Like you wanted that match of the two best players in the league, and we finally get that. Like this is what you live for championship ball is to have the best of the best, not some eight seed that squeeze their way in or whatever it is. Nah, if we got number one seed here versus number one seed here, that's what we want. That's what the people want. That's going to really give us the type of basketball or performance, regardless of sport, that we're looking for as fans. And so when you have the best of the best, you need to tune into that. You also have two of the best coaches in the league. Um, as far as legacy, Sandy Brondello, she's been doing it a while. This is her 10th year as a head coach. She's the ninth winningest coach in WNBA history. In the postseason, she has the fifth most wins. So winning is in her DNA as a coach. And honestly, what signaled the change for the New York Liberty was when Coach Brondello uh, was not with the Phoenix Mercury anymore, a team and organization she was with for 8 years. She wasn't with them anymore, and she went to the New York Liberty, and that kind of signaled that change that hey, they were going to be doing some things. So they made it to the playoffs last year, and then they followed up with this offseason. It's like you kind of knew with the coach, with the players, that championship was going to be the aspiration, and it wasn't going to be anything less. And speaking of championships, this will be Coach Brondello's fourth appearance in the WNBA Finals. In the previous three, she's only won one title in 2014 with the Phoenix Mercury, but um, she's always been that dog and gets the best out of her teams. And so to see the New York Liberty in the WNBA Finals in her, I think, second season as the head coach, it is not surprising at all because she has that championship DNA. She creates that culture. And when you add the players to complement a coach that already has that mentality, this is what you get. You get a team that doesn't disappoint and does make it to that promised land with a chance to be the champion. And so on the other end, you got, my girl, Becky Hammon, loved her as an assistant coach for the San Antonio Spurs, but even loved her as a player even more. So it's always hard for me to rock against her or go against her because I've been watching her my whole life as a player and as a coach, and then her happen to be a coach for my favorite NBA team and pretty much favorite team overall, honestly, in any sport. So, there's a level of bias when it comes to Coach Hammond, but at the end of the day, she is who she is. She's a stud. She's a superstar in this coaching thing. This is her second season at the helm in Las Vegas. And guess what? This is their second time in the WNBA Finals under her tutelage. And that is no coincidence. We can talk about the players all we want to, but the signing of Coach Hammond was what got this team over the hump. They had good promise. They started off Kelsey Plum alluded to this, like, hey, when you guys talk about a super team, like, hey, man, we got out the mud. We were drafted here, a good bit of us, and we developed and we got better. And that is true. And I think Coach Hammond was that icing on the cake that really brought that championship DNA to the Las Vegas Aces that don't just be good enough to make the playoffs. Don't just be good enough to maybe make the WNBA Finals. Be great enough to win it. And so in her first season, they were able to do that. And they are the favorites to do it this year. And it's likely that they're going to be going back to back, which would be the first time, I believe, in 20 years, in over 20 years, that a team went back to back. So that's a large achievement. And so the Las Vegas Aces are chasing history. And so I'm excited to see, again, the best of the best as far as players, teams, and coaches. See if Las Vegas can make that history and be a back-to-back champion. And so, second reason, it's championship basketball. Right now, especially in NFL, because that's what this game, particularly game one tomorrow, is going up against, and is going to be going up against, baseball to some degree throughout the week. But as far as this first game, and I know how people care about their football, this is championship level basketball right now. In the NFL, you're still early in the regular season. In college football, if you're really a team of maybe the top four, top five, you're fine for another week or so. You'll be okay, missing this game. Um, Also, college football is on Saturday, so you don't have to worry about it tomorrow. So you'll be just fine. You watch your college football team on Saturday. You can watch this team on or these teams on tomorrow and see them vie for a championship. It means a little bit more, I would say, because it's truly a winner go home, best of five series. Game one is also important. So if New York Liberty can still game one, that's going to be important. If the Las Vegas Aces can, put their state in home court advantage, which they have right now as the top overall seed, that could be a big thing to see. So again, when the stakes are a little bit higher, why would you not? If you truly love competition, if you truly love just the battle to win a title, why would you not want to choose the WNBA Finals in this scenario? Again, it's not as if you're getting a one seed versus an eight seed or a seven seed versus a six seed or whatever it may be. No, you are getting the best of the best, the cream of the crop that this league has to offer. True super teams. Sometimes it's like in the NBA, we've seen some super teams falter, and so we don't get the matchup of two super teams. But you truly have two super teams that are vying for that title, and you should want to. If that competition really resonates with you, you should want that. And so I don't know. I plan on watching it uh, because one, I love basketball, but also, and I'll get to it in a second. I mean, NFL team, I can watch them a little bit, but let's get to that third point. Let's be honest. Your NFL team sucks, so you might as well just watch the WNBA finals. Like, come on. Like, I will start with me first. Saints fan. My offense is averaging outside of a punt return touchdown. We were averaging less than two touchdowns a game. 13.7 points per game is what my offense is putting on the field. And my defense isn't really playing at an elite level either. Not to say I don't love my New Orleans Saints. Y'all know I do. But I don't mind in the third quarter or whatever turning it on the WNBA Finals. I mean, if you got multiple devices, you can honestly watch both. It helps both viewership. But let's really talk about like if you're in New York, you're talking about New York Liberty, they're in the WNBA Finals. Come on, like the Giants, we saw what they're putting out on the field. The Jets don't play until about 3:25, but who wants to watch the Jets this year without Aaron Rodgers? So again, like if you're in New York and Buffalo is playing early in the morning at 8:30 because they're going to be playing in London against the Jacksonville Jaguars. So why would you not, want to put your attention to another hometown team that will bring you a championship, will bring New York a championship for the first time, I believe, since 2011 when New York Giants did it. Then, as far as basketball is concerned, Knicks fans, I mean, y'all really need to be in tune with it because y'all haven't had a basketball championship since the 70s. My mother wasn't even born yet. Like, come on, people. Y'all need to rally. That stadium should be packed. That stadium should be packed when the series transfers over to New York. And let's talk about Vegas real quick. I mean, y'all play on Monday. The Raiders play on Monday, but the Aces have been there longer. And they have given you championships. They've given you championships. They've been good to you. And the Raiders kind of suck right now. I'm interested to see what Jimmy G looks like when he gets back, but the Raiders are the Raiders right now. You should be in tune with this championship team that is bringing some moxie to Vegas from a professional sports perspective. So, but if y'all don't want to believe me, y'all saying my team isn't bad. I'm going to read off this slate of noon games that you should ignore and watch the WNBA Finals for. Okay, I'll start with the Saints versus the Patriots. Do you know that the Patriots, 71% of their drives, 71%. So out of 10 drives, about a little bit over seven. So let's just say seven in a turnover or a punt. You want to watch that shit? The Saints, oh my God, they are not too far behind them. They're one of the worst as well. They're 33% in the red zone as far as touchdown percentage, which basically means they keep kicking field goals. You want to keep seeing a kicker tried out there for football. I mean, I don't mind if he's coming out there for an extra point. Don't mind me, but just to kick field goals, and yes, I want him to make every single one. But like, come on, like football for Saints fans and for Patriots fans, it has been horrible this year. And while the Saints record at 2-2 doesn't really show it, you're just kind of even. I mean, if you actually watch the games, I mean, come on. Derek Carr hasn't been what we were told he was going to be. Obviously, he's dealing with an injury, but he's playing, so he has to be evaluated as if he's 100%. Why would I want to watch that all the way through? Especially, I get a good glimpse. I mean, I get to watch the first half of the game before the WNBA Finals game one comes on. So I'll tell you right now, if it's not looking pretty in the sense of they're playing horribly, if it's like 6-3, I'll go watch the highlights of Blake Groupie making field goals later. I can promise you that. Okay, let's go to another one. Giants. Y'all know I love the Giants as well versus the Dolphins. Why would I want to see the Giants get embarrassed like that? Like, why? We're talking about a Dolphins team that put up 70 points against the Denver Broncos. They might put up 80 against the New York Giants. Like, I'm like, why? Why would I watch that? Why would I watch murder being committed on national television? That makes no sense. Titans versus Colts might actually be a good game. But because both teams are probably just going to be run, 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 uh, it might be little iffy, but we'll see. But it is an exciting game. I will give them that. It's for first place in their division. I'm one that says I still believe in Ryan Tannehill and the Tennessee Titans and winning that division. So if you're in Nashville, if you're in Indianapolis, and you just have to support your team, you might not want to ignore that one. But come on, the first half is going to dictate what that game looks like for you. Ravens Steelers rivalry game. I guess you can say I got to choose that over the WNBA trade. But guess what? This isn't for the championship. I mean, I get it. Ravens Steelers, since I've been alive, has always been a marquee matchup. I get it, but you can skip a week. Kenny Pickett's not even healthy. Like, should we really evaluate this matchup when Kenny Pickett is playing with a bone bruise in his knee? We know he's not going to be as mobile as he usually is. And then, the offensive line sucks. They can't block for Kenny. They can't block for Najee. It feels like he's averaging 1.1 yards per carry sometimes. The Ravens, even though they got all the weapons, OBJ is supposed to be back. Are they going to now throw the ball 30, 35 times a game? No, they're probably going to run that full house backfield, read option with Lamar, throw it to the tight end. I mean, we've seen it all before. If you've seen one Ravens Steelers game, you've seen all. It's the same thing. It's going to come down to the kicker. Who has the ball left? Is it going to be Boswell or is it going to be Tucker that wins the game? That's just what it is. It doesn't matter what the records are. So it is what it is. But if you want to watch Ravens Steelers, yes. But again, it's going to be a dogfight, whatever it is. Texans and Falcons. Texans are a little less shit than we all expected them to be this season, but we all know the Falcons are shit. So if you're in Atlanta, why the hell would you even watch that team? Why are you even supporting that team? Doesn't make any sense to me. At least Houston has some promise. They have a young, promising quarterback. They got a young, promising defensive end. They got a young, promising coach. I mean, they have something to look forward to. Atlanta, you have nothing. You need to be watching game one of the WNBA Finals. Oh, and then we have the Panthers, the Price is Bryce, versus the Lions. Now, we talked about murder with Giants and Dolphins. It's probably going to be a little bit of murder with the Lions and Panthers, too. I mean, the Panthers, they haven't been defending well, and they're going up against one of the most prolific offenses in the NFL. Now, if the Panthers can't get going on offense against this defense, it's going to be a long year for them. They might go 0-17 if they can't at least get going against this Lions defense. It might be a good game. But okay, people of Charlotte, North Carolina, you know your Panthers aren't going anywhere. You can watch them next week. You should be watching this game. Lions, your guys are probably going to choke anyway. I mean, you're 3-1 right now. You're probably going to be 4-1 tomorrow. You're playing the lowly Carolina Panthers that have no offensive line, no pass catchers, a rookie quarterback. Everybody on their defense is hurt. I mean, Do you really want to see the Lions beat up on the poor Panthers? Like, do you not have a heart? So with all that being said, I went through the slate of noon games. I haven't even started on the late afternoon games because why? But again, I think by that time you will be so in tune with the WNBA Finals, game one, seeing play after play after play, high level execution, high level coaching, high level play. But you're gonna be like, ah, I'll keep it on. And that works. At worst, at worst, you can do what I'm probably going to do. I'm going to have WNBA on the TV because they're more important to me right now, and I'll have the Saints on the phone. You know, I'm in this little group where they stream games or whatever. I won't tell you because I ain't no snitch, but I'm gonna be watching that on my phone. So, if I hear some people getting loud, I might look down at the phone to see, if the Saints made 3 field goals instead of 2 today. But, it is what it is. There's ways that you can watch. I mean, both things. If you truly need to watch your football, there are ways that you can capture the WNBA Finals Game 1 as well. We live in a world where you have multiple devices. You can utilize them at the same time. Like, don't be a dunce. You can do it. But at the end of the day, it truly has nothing to do with the NFL in terms of the games that suck because they will kind of suck tomorrow. But end all be all, again, you have championship level basketball on. 2 teams, the best 2 teams, the best 2 players, the best 2 coaches in the league going at it. Winner take all, best of 5. And game one, we know if you're a fan of basketball, if you're a fan of baseball, game one sets the tone to some degree of what that series will be like. And so, speaking of, I told you guys we will cover it game by game. I do believe this series will go to 5. I will not tell you who I think will win yet, but I will tell you who I think will win game one. And I believe the New York Liberty has it on their mind. I think they will go roll up into Vegas, and I think they will come out with a win in game one. And I think, because I feel like if the Aces win, it's just going to be the same old, same old. I mean, they are the best team. They have, in my opinion, the best player, even though Brianna is the league MVP this year. But I think Age is the best player in the league. I think Becky is the best coach in the league. And they have one of the best rosters. I mean, I haven't even gone down the line. I haven't even mentioned Jackie Young yet. Jackie Young, who led the league in 3-point percentage. I haven't even mentioned her yet. That's how you know they are star-studded. So, anyways, it would be easy for me to pick the Aces to win game one, but I truly feel like New York Liberty, they've kind of put in their mindset. I think Coach Brondello's put in their mindset that we are winning this game. We are starting off on the right track. And I think it's going to be a close one. I'll take Liberty by 5. I think it's going to be a one possession game most of the time, and then they'll knock down a few free throws to put it away. I think Sabrina Ionescu will be the game's leading scorer. I think Chelsea Gray will be the game's leading assist person. I think Jonquel Jones is going to lead both teams in rebounds and blocks. So that's kind of where I am on this. I could be wrong, but I just feel it in here that New York Liberty game one is going to come out with a win. Y'all need to be watching. I'll be watching. We'll make sure to follow up on follow up on game one in a preview of game two on Tuesday. So we're doing this right. Definitely going to try to give the WNBA some love at a time where they need it, especially because, again, championship basketball. If you ain't going to cover them in the championship, you're never going to cover them at all. So here we are. Anyways, for the NFL teams I disrespected today, including God's chosen franchise, my New Orleans Saints, I don't apologize because you know what you are and how you operate. You should be apologizing to me. But anyways, if I did offend anyone, it's a good thing. It's an opportunity for me to learn. It's an opportunity for you to teach me. All I ask is that you keep it respectful. Peace.